Hey, it's Joe Amoia, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. Have you ever gone on a date where you thought everything was going well? You were getting along great with the guy, there was this great conversation, and then ultimately you never heard from him again. And you're left wondering, was there something that you did? Well, today you're going to learn the three biggest mistakes that women make on the first date. Now, the first one is that they show a guy that they have unresolved issues from their past. They talk about how they've been screwed over by their ex and how they've had their heart broken. And they said, how they don't trust men. There's this signs. There's some things that guys are picking up where you don't trust men. Or you talk about, how all men do this, how all men are liars, cheats, or they can't commit to women. Well, guess what, ladies? If you're sitting across from a guy and you say all men, you've just incorporated him into that group, which lets him believe that you think the same way about him. So if a guy sees that, there ain't going to be a second date. So that's the first step, is you can't show a guy that you have issues about men because he's a man. The second one is you can't show a guy that you're desperate, needy, or that you're insecure. See, if you're constantly looking for validation, you're constantly making about yourself and your need for approval. If you're telling a guy, do you like me? When am I going to see you again? When do you want to go out again? And you seem desperate or needy. Well, guys are going to pick up on that. Also, one of the ways they do that is that they feel that you're interrogating them. It's like when a woman has an agenda, trust me, a guy can pick it up. So it's kind of like, when do you want to get married? How many kids you want to have? It's like right from the very first date, that tells a guy that, this is a woman with an agenda who doesn't really care about getting to know me as a man versus finding some guy to walk her down the aisle. So that's really, that's really important. So even if you have that intense desire to get married and to walk down the aisle and ultimately have a family, you can't come across as desperate. You have to come across as a confident, secure woman who's looking for the right guy and who's not going to take any guy who comes along. So that's the second step. Now, the third one, and this is a big one, and it's pretty obvious. We shouldn't have to talk about this, but we're going to. And that's when you get sexual or you allow a guy to get sexual on the first date. See, if a guy's going to commit to you, he's going to respect you. And I'm going to tell you the truth, and you might not want to hear this, but if you're talking about sex on the first date, or you allow a guy to talk about sex on the first date, or you allow a guy to feel you up, or, get in your pants on the first date, well, I'm sorry to say, he's not going to respect you because you're not showing him that you're different than all the other girls out there. You want to show him that you're a secure, confident woman that's not going to let any guy who comes along in his pants. This is a line that we've all heard as guys is, I don't do this with everyone. Well, what a guy tells himself when he hears that is like, really? You know so much about me in this first date that you've decided to compromise your standards and your morals. And that may be true, but the reality is that you really don't know someone, no matter what they portray themselves to be like in that first date. And so if you do it with him, his belief is that just because you're saying it, you're doing it with everybody else. So you can't show them that you're easy. You have to show them that you're different from all the other women out there, all the women who allow guys to get, in their pants and allowed to play that sexual game. And yeah, it's a lot of fun and it's exciting, but you can't go there. It's like playing with fire. It's very dangerous. And so you want to show a guy that, look, I'm a strong, confident woman. When the time is right, we'll get there because let's face it, if you're going to have a relationship, also you're going to have to cross that bridge. But there's no need to talk about that on the first date. The premise, the idea should be that, we're here to find out if ultimately we want to have sex with each other because that's a bridge that we will get to one day. But we want to make sure that there's other things that are there where we are compatible. We have the same ideas. We have the same values. We get along. There's a connection here. And there's some great chemistry. So these are the three things that you really need to follow if you want to give yourself a chance of having a great second date with a man. Now, before going, I want to emphasize is that sometimes it's simply a matter of a guy's simply not attracted to you. You could do everything great, but for whatever reason, you're not what he's looking for. You're vanilla ice cream and he's looking for chocolate. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with vanilla. And so ultimately part of the dating game is you have to learn not to take things personal. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but you just have to get to the point that, hey, you know what? If he didn't ask me out again, then you know what? I'm not what he's looking for. Just like it works the same way with you, some of the guys you've been out with. So learn not to take it personally, make your life a lot easier. So these are some three great first date tips. I also want to hear from you. Do you have any suggestions? Feel free to put them in the box below. Share them with the members of our community. As always, an honor, privilege to be with you. I'll see you next time. Much love.